Hi, my name is Mallory Langford. The first article that I read was Variety of Language, and the first thing that I learned from the article was that in the United States there is not a clear dominant political or cultural center, leading to regional variations in pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary. How I could use this knowledge as a teacher is to familiarize my class with different accents and speaking patterns of those around us in our state, in our country, or around the world. The second thing that I learned from the Variety of Language article is that there are many dialects or varieties of English heard in the United States, such as African American English, New York City English, Boston English, and many more. Dialects is separate from accents, and to use this knowledge as a future teacher, I can ask my students different ways that they greet their families, say good morning or good night, or even ways that they say popular words such as Coke or Pop. The third thing that I learned from this article was that slangs have a short shelf life. So I think it's important to know this as a future educator and to know and familiarize yourself with the words that you're using. And if other students don't know this type of language, I think it's best to stay away from slangs because you don't know what these students will go home and tell their parents about these crazy slangs that you've said. So I thought that was something that I could talk about learning through that. Why I thought this article was important was because all students in your class are going to sound differently, may have a different dialect, and I think it's important to understand that you will have to be flexible and accepting of these students and also help your other students understand these students who may sound differently, just to create a classroom family so no one feels left out. The second article, the language acquisition theories article, the first thing that I read was that with a limited vocabulary, children are able to absorb the complicated rules of grammar without formal knowledge. Knowing this, I want to be an educator that is always using my voice, new words, and strong language with my students. Because I am going to be teaching younger students, I think it's important to do those things and make sure that you're using all the vocabulary that you can in order to introduce new words to these students beyond what they already know. The second thing that I learned from the article was the learning theory of language acquisition suggests children learn language through repetition of enforcement. Knowing this, I believe it is important for me to be repetitive as a teacher so that my students will be able to hear and remember the words through memory. The third fact that I learned from the article was one of the other theories mentioned, the interactionist approach of language acquisitions, which suggests children learn language out of desire to communicate with those around them. I thought this one was cool because I can definitely see this being a true way that children learn language, and I think this is important to know as a teacher because children will want to bond with you, talk with you more if you have a classroom family, if you have those strong relationships with those students. Why I thought this article was important was because as a future teacher, you are in your classroom and your classroom lays the foundation for communication, especially as an early childhood educator, pre-K, kinder. You're laying the foundation for communication, words, and it is important to take these things and apply them in your future classroom. Thank you so much. Have a good night.